Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'll show you how to install this antenna for the radio in your Android head unit in your Volvo XC90. Now, in a previous video I showed you how to install this head unit and the GPS module, which have both been working fine. But in order to use radio on this head unit, you also need to buy this radio antenna, which unfortunately doesn't come with the kit, but this will give you the capability to use radio. You can see if I go into radio now and I turn up the volume, you can see that there is just static on each and every channel you try. So now to get started, just power off your screen just by holding it down, turn off the car if it's on, and we can get started. So as before, we take our flathead screwdriver or something with a sharp or blunt point, just put it in here, dig, careful not to scratch the plastic, and we remove all the four covers. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Now after you've removed all the covers for the screws, you can get your Torx 25-bit and unscrew the 4 screws. So you've removed those 4 screws, the screen should just lift up and out now. Similarly to the GPS video, we're going to put the screen down like so, not relying on it. We're going to unscrew these 4 screws. Now you can see, before I unscrew those 4 screws, that I don't have the GPS module in here. And that's because I routed it through the dashboard and into this A-pillar on the driver's side door. Now this isn't necessary, this is just because I didn't want to have the mess of cables here and I opted to have it more neater. After having removed the 4 screws, the screen should just lift out of place. So now putting the frame back into its original spot, we can see the innards of the screen, and this is the socket here for the radio antenna. The installation of the radio antenna is pretty simple. Just plug the radio antenna in, push until it goes snug, and ideally you'd want to have the radio antenna routed somewhere where it's close to the top of the car, but even leaving it here is inside the dashboard is fine. But after this video I am going to route it inside next to the GPS module, just so I can have better reception even when I'm outside the UK. But now to test. So to test, we just put it roughly back into its position. Take our key, put it back on. Press the power button. Turn the car on. And now we can turn up the volume. Like so. Near the volume works. Of course we need to have the aux on. And we can go to a channel. Here in England we have 105.4 for Magic. Just go to that. Whoa. And we can hear that it works. It works quite well as well. There's a lot of bass I can hear, which I might have to adjust in the settings, but we can hear that it's all working well. So now to put back everything that we took out, we turn off the radio, holding down the power button, and we can turn off the ignition. Having done that, we can now tilt the screen back because we need to remove the radio connector, because if we try and install it, then it won't fit due to the lack of restrictions in the back of the plastic casing here. So we need to adapt the cable here at the end a little bit. Having taken the antenna out, we can see that on the connector there's these 2 notches, one on each side, and we just need to move the plastic just enough to get over those 2 connectors so that we can remove the plastic shielding off the bottom of the connector. So now after having done that, we can see that we've exposed the inside of the antenna, and there's this little gap here, which what we're going to do is just bend the antenna inwards so that there's less constricting space at the end of it. After doing that, installing it to test fit the antenna and its cables back under frame. We can test fit to see if it all fits. And it does, which is really good. So now the next step is flipping over the screen and screwing in the 4 screws for attaching the screen to the plastic plate. After having screwed in those 4 screws, we can put our screen back into place. And put our screen back into place, we can screw in all the 4 screws holding the plate, the screen plate, to the dashboard. After having done that, we can take the covers for the screws and put them all back in to their places. Having put all the covers back into place, we can now turn on the car and check the radio to see if it works. Yeah, we can see that it works. Ignoring the message notifications. You can hear that it works. Let's go to a different channel. Let's go to Classic FM 109. See that it works. Let's try Magic, which is 105.4. So we can see that all these radio stations work, which is really good to hear. That's basically it. Now we've installed the radio antenna, we can use the radio both on the screen and in the car. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.